hello and thanks for tuning in. You're listening to WSDH Live 91.5, Sandwich's community radio station. My name is Jay McGrail. I'm the chair of the Sandwich School Committee, and this is the podcast that we have. So today in the studio, we have a great group of teachers and principal at Oak Ridge here to discuss the 7Cs program and some exciting stuff that's going on at Oak Ridge. So could you guys introduce yourself and tell you a little bit about who you are?
Sure. My name is Christy Mcdonald, and I've been teaching in the Sandwich Public Schools for about 10 years. I taught 5th grade before we moved all to Oak Ridge, and I began teaching Exploring the 7Cs.
Great.
And I'm Trishelle. I'm the building principal of the Oak Ridge School, and have been there since before we started the reconfiguration, and have been there since.
And I'm Kara Black. I'm the other 7Cs teacher. Before this, I taught 4th grade for 8 or 9 years here in Sandwich, and this is my first year teaching the 7Cs class.
Oh, it sounds like we got some good things to talk about in the studio today. So, Trish, this is hard to say because I've been sitting at a lot of school committee meetings, and I also have a child that's involved in this program, but I don't know a ton about it.
Okay.
So why don't you tell me a little bit about how this came about? Where did this come from? Whose vision was this?
So when we were first talking about reconfiguring the schools, at that time I was actually the science curriculum coordinator, but I was part of that team that was helping to envision what we could possibly do if we brought the schools together in this way. And then I became the principal. So one of the things that we were asked to do was to say, how can we enhance programming for kids? And what do we want to make these new schools about? And so when I thought about this age group, I kept thinking more and more about destination imagination. My daughter at the time had been involved in it, and it was such a great learning experience for the kids. And I kept thinking of all the different skills that the kids were getting out of that program. And what I realized was that they were basically the 21st century learning skills of communication, collaboration, creativity, and critical thinking. So that was sort of the base. And then we had an opportunity to bring all of the teachers from the various schools together prior to becoming a new school, and we said, okay, what do we want our new school to be about? And we talked about those 21st century standards. And then we said, an important piece is our commitment to the community and service learning. So we added another C, if you will. And then the teacher said, well, each of our schools had really strong character programs, so they wanted character to be another piece of it. And then we knew we were getting the kids ready for the STEM Academy, and we were doing a lot of work around inquiry, so we added curiosity, and we kind of realized, hey, we have 7Cs, and what a play on words that was, being in this area. And so that's really where that came from, that first initial idea of the 7Cs. And so I really wanted the kids to live the mission of the school. So a lot of times when you talk about school mission statements, they're something that gets put on your website or they're on a shelf and the kids don't really know about it. So I wanted something that the kids got to experience that mission of the school every day. So was thinking about how we could do that, and that's when I came up with the idea for this Exploring the 7Cs class. And honestly, when I came up with the idea, and Kristen came in to interview at the time, she far exceeded my vision for it. So I had one idea in place, and when she was talking about what she saw for that and the opportunities that she saw, I was just like, this woman has to be one of these teachers, because she just took it to a level that my mind hadn't really gone into. And at the time, she was with another teacher who was working the other position, and together they started out a lot of the programs that I'm sure she'll talk about. And then when Kara came on this year, they continue to take it to new levels, so it's really exciting. So.
Well, it sounds really cool.
Yeah, it's great.
So it sounds like, were there other districts that were doing it, or did you guys truly come up with this in Sandwich?
Yep.
So one of the things that we focused on the show is what makes us unique, and what are some of the things that make Sandwich what we are. And this is obviously
no other school has anything like it, so it's a
cool.
unique to Oak Ridge. So.
Yeah, and the kids love it.
Yeah, they
which
do.
is an awesome part of it.
Well, that's because these two.
Yeah. So Kristen, that must be pretty awesome to hear her say that when you interviewed with her, that your vision kind of helped her grow the idea. So tell me a little bit about what makes you love it. What do you do on a daily basis that keeps you coming back?
So I feel like we get to do with the kids, everything that a classroom teacher would like to do with them all day long, but they don't have time to, because they have to teach certain curriculum lessons, right? So we get to like delve in, we get to watch them work in groups, we get to teach them how to talk to each other in groups so they can be better collaborators. We get to watch their critical thinking. Like this week with 4th and 5th grade, we're doing Create Your Own Sustainable Businesses based on the book The Lorax. So like these kids have this imaginary environment of the Lorax, and they take it and they make these products and businesses that are like unbelievable. And we get to just be a part of it, like guiding them, like, wait, he's trying to talk, give him his turn, then it's your turn, and teach them how to do that, which we know they're going to use like throughout their whole life. And then what we tied in this week was public speaking, like 6 traits of speaking publicly. These are some things you want to keep in mind as you're presenting your business. And like the great thing is like we know it doesn't stop in our class. Like we've heard from teachers, they work together, they use the words like we've taught them about like, oh, I'm going to put an idea on the table, or I need to pause.
The norms of collaboration.
Yeah, the norms of collaboration that we taught them how to work together. So I don't know, it's just really neat to know that this is something that matters in their life and will.
Yeah,
Keep
I can see
going.
that. I mean, obviously the public speaking part, you're using it right now.
I am.
As we're sitting here, you're thinking about those things that you taught them this week. Oh, that's really cool. So this is your first year, Kara?
Yes,
Yeah.
This is my first year, and it's been really amazing to see all of the wonderful things they did last year, but then build off of it this year. This year we've tried to focus on 1 C per month. So, for example, in September we focused on creativity. That was one of my favorite events. We had a cardboard challenge at the Oak Ridge School where the kids had to create out of cardboard, and to see the lunchroom filled with all of the kids' creations. It was a rainy day and the whole lunchroom was filled with all of their creations that they came up with just using cardboard and recyclables, games that they could play together, and seeing all of the different kids playing together and including each other. That's what it's all about.
That's pretty cool. So is the curriculum different between the 3rd graders, the 4th graders, and the 5th graders, or is it kind of like, do you kind of go with one plan?
So one of the things we talked about when we first came up with this was the idea of having an essential question that applied to the program, which was, what does it mean to be part of a community? And so each grade level initially kind of had a level of that. So in 3rd grade it was about our school community, and then 4th grade it was about our town, and in 5th grade it was about being part of the community of our country, and in 6th grade it's about the globe. So they look at it through different lenses.
So they have one idea, but they're looking at it through different lenses. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, so where's the future going to go with this program? What are some of the things you guys have thought about wanting to accomplish in the next few years?
Do you want me to take it?
Sure.
So one thing that we started last year in our first year was building a greenhouse out of recycled water bottles.
I saw it behind the school the
Yeah,
other day at
yeah.
lacrosse practice.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
So the
Which
kids
is a
are
project they had done over at a high school,
right.
and here we have our 3 through 6th graders working on that.
Yeah, they all had a part. Like each grade had a different thing they did, which was amazing. And so this year we wanted to add to it, and then we wanted to add an outdoor classroom to it, so that the teachers want to bring their kids outside to learn in that space, and then integrate like a sensory garden in. So continuing to build like our community of our school and integrating it into our town community. I think that's kind of the vision of where we're going, like just to keep building on what these 7 C's are.
So the Earth Day program, I know that I had originally met you via email and we were talking about doing some of the volunteering for Earth Day. Tell me about that. How does that come about? Was that part of this program, or is that something you did on the side? Or?
So it's part of 7 C's, part of our community aspect. We really tied into that. And in the fall, we have a gratitude week across the whole school. And each class practices, like there's different things a day. There's like a quote a day. And this year it was a gratitude list going through the A to Z. We did a gratitude graffiti wall, and at the end of that week we do a service for our community where we contact the Council on Aging and they give us homes. And this year was 8 homes, and there were about 50 volunteers. They went out on a Saturday and they did their community action day. So I've always wanted to bring it in on Earth Day too, because I feel like it ties into helping the community. So it ends up being that last year we were ready to start really building our greenhouse, and we needed like adult strength too to get the roof on top.
Right.
So it just kind of ended up right at that time, and we were like, why don't we do a second community action day in the spring? I bet the Council on Aging has homes that still need to be cleaned up for the spring, and we could use some help in our own school with the greenhouse.
Well, that's cool. So I mean, that stuff goes really, really well in the community. community. I mean, I really believe that's like a real strong piece of how we can get our message out there, that we're more than just something that takes taxpayer dollars. It's through community service. Yeah, we've spent a lot of time, and Trish, you were on that group with our strategic plan, our 5-year strategic plan, and one of the parts of it that's come out of that we're going to present is community service and making that like district-wide. So it sounds like your group will be a big part of that at Oak Ridge, that's for sure.
But they've done other things too, where they've brought the community in. So one of the amazing projects that they did this year was bring a vet to school. And
my dad went.
that was
Oh,
fantastic.
that's right.
Yeah,
Yes.
my dad was there.
He
Yeah.
spoke in character.
It was a highlight of his whole year. He still talks about it.
Oh,
Awesome.
and I think it really was a highlight for a lot of those vets who came in. They talked about it so much and were so appreciative. And the kids sent them cards of thanks afterwards. We have the Kindness Tunnels, which is connected to the
Great Kindness
Challenge. So we do these different challenges that are global challenges a lot of the times that are happening all over the world, in schools all over the world, and we're kind of one piece of it. So we do things that connect us to other schools around the globe, and then we do other ones that connect us to our town as well. So it's, there's a lot going on that really makes it special and makes an outreach, but also brings people in.
There sure is a lot going on. I mean, it's pretty cool that this is every kid at Oak Ridge is involved in this program, every child. I mean, so it's more than just, science and math and history. I mean, they get to do this every day. And this, to me, it seems like this is the stuff that will make them an adult and a person, a more well-rounded, complete person.
Yeah.
And so Comfort Choice is a part of it. I don't know, Kara, can you tell us a little bit about that?
So Kristen would be the one to probably tell you about Comfort Choice because she's trained in Comfort Choice and she teaches our 3rd graders the Comfort Choice lesson.
So how does that work?
So Comfort Choice is an organization that was founded on Cape Cod, and it's a mindful awareness organization, I think I would say. They're a universal prevention program to teach kids how to manage stress and how to face challenges that come up in their lives. So some of the things that we do in class is talking about like what's a thought, what's a feeling, what happens when you get that thought or feeling, like how do you deal with it? Everybody's going to have these like thoughts and feelings that are unpleasant. How do you deal with them? Teaching them some strategies to help, like for test taking. We did mindful awareness for MCAS, and so we taught them like strategies to calm themselves down, like 5-finger breathing. Just connecting back to your breath and how that can help calm all the thoughts that are going around in your head. And another lesson's on optimism and how you have choice on how you think about things, and you can choose. Once you notice your thoughts, you can choose to think of them in a different way if you like. Yeah, so it's amazing, and the 3rd graders have already come so far. There's 16 lessons, and every lesson starts with a stop and listen. So we literally stop and sit quietly and just listen to the sounds around us, and then maybe pay attention to breath and things like that. And at first, it's really, really hard for 3rd graders to just stop and listen.
Really hard for me.
Yeah, right. So I've seen that skill like build in them, and it's all about paying attention on purpose. So it's teaching them like you can pay attention to what you want to pay attention to, like no matter the distractions that are going on around you, like you have the ability to focus.
But I also think that, going into the classes, I see how, when they're talking about how when you're emotional, how your amygdala, part of your brain, so they teach about brain science, about how your amygdala is sort of taking control and how the prefrontal cortex is not able to process information because, of that firing in another part of your brain. And so the kids go, yeah, it is so hard to think when I'm upset, or, so they start to learn that, okay, if I can get myself through that time, now I can think again, now I can make a better decision. So it's really about trying to teach the kids how to pay attention on purpose, how to regulate their emotions, and so they can make better choices in any different arena, whether it's taking tests or whether it's, a social situation on the soccer field at recess, so in all different aspects of their lives.
Well, it's amazing to see that because, I guess if you teach them early, maybe they'll learn how to do it because as adults, I know I still struggle with all of that, getting through the local town election last week. I had every symptom you just talked about.
You just need to calm your amygdala.
I needed to do a lot.
A little 5-finger
I
breathing.
needed to ask what day the 3rd graders were involved in that, and I can come and sit in.
You're always welcome.
Well, and I just wanted to add, it's not just the 3rd grade too that we have those lessons. Calmer Choice is 3rd grade, but then the rest of the grades we've had a lot of growth mindset lessons and the same lessons that you talked about calming your brain. So we got some great feedback. I know for Teacher Appreciation Week week we got letters from the kids, and a lot of them said it helped them with MCAS, how to stay stress-free. And I've learned so much as an educator about growth mindset, and we talk about changing our language to be more positive. So now I can't do it, but I can't do it yet, but I'll try, and how we can be more optimistic. So I've seen a huge change in students with optimism and positive thinking as well.
I'm just telling you, this is an amazing program. You guys are, the little bit that I've learned just now, it's unbelievable what you guys are doing over there. And I mean, to hear my daughter come home and talk about how much she loves it is a true testament to it. It's a really good program. The kids love it. It makes us unique. It's everything that's about Sandwich, what we're doing. So thank you guys very much. Thanks for coming in
Thanks
here
for
today.
having
And
us.
please
Yeah, thanks for
keep up the good work. You guys are part of our core, that's for sure. So thank you very much. And that's it for today's show. So this is Jay McGrail signing off for 91.5 WSDH Live, Sandwiches Community Radio Station. Thanks a lot.
WSDH Live is recorded at WSDH Studios in Sandwich, Massachusetts. We are executive produced by Paula Johnson with podcast production by Ryan Hill. He also made the music. Remember to check out WSDH on TuneIn.com and the TuneIn app for more great content. As always, thank you for supporting Sandwich Community Radio. We'll catch you next time.